Yo, what up? Today I just wanted to ramble about a bit about life itself and how I end up in this situation where I feel forced to record this video so I can get some steam off, maybe reach some people who are in a similar situation than mine, and maybe I can help someone to overcome or just show some people, hey bro, you're not the only person right here that is suffering, right? So why am I doing this video? First of all, I was thinking about doing videos again for a certain amount of time, but I never found the courage to do so because I don't know, I just felt not like it actually. But now I think it's the time where I have to ramble a bit about, just to get some steam off, just to be finally relaxed, because the last couple of weeks and days were pretty depressing. Just for the start, I'm about to get my master's degree in engineering. And I did the last couple of months I had to do some internship, which is mandatory for my degree. So I got some insight into a company that is very big in Germany, here where I live, and what work actually means. First off, the work itself was pretty chill because the people were kind of nice, the work times were nice and everything, but I still had to work anyways. So I still had to waste 8 hours a day per day there. And that's the first thing that fucking shook me. The way how the work world actually works, right? You have to waste 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you feel like there is no escape out of it, right? And I'm dreading it. I'm about to finish my degree this year, or at the start of the next year I have start looking for work, right? And one of my friends that I am studying with, that finishes studying this year, is already looking for a job for more than 5 months. As a fucking Masters of Engineering, he's looking for half a year for a fucking job. That is one thing that fucking dreads me. I feel betrayed from I am not a person that normally compares myself to other people, but to be honest, sometimes you will just do that instinctively. Sometimes you have to do it just to know where you're at, just to know where you went wrong, because sometimes you have the feeling, bro, where do I went wrong? I'm actually smarter than most people online, but these motherfuckers do 10 times my salary, even though they are just rambling about some random shit that doesn't even matter, or they're farting into the camera at Twitch, or just doing some fucking ads for the TikTok and crap. And then first of all, you have to realize that everything, or 95% of your life, is determined before you're even born, right? And that's something that I thought about a lot of times, especially because of a friend. I will come to that soon. But first of all, I'm completely depressed, man. The last 2 days, that's how fucking deep into the hole I am. I was just thinking about, bro, if I just drive down to work and some fucking meteor strikes my car and kills me instantly without any pain, I would be more relieved than threatened, or more relieved than sad. Because it would finally be over and I can move on. All the people that care about me can move on because it's a fucking meteor. Who the fuck you going to be mad at, right? At the fucking meteor for striking me down? I doubt it. And that's where my mental state is, right? And I was just I'm dreading working. I will be working, or most likely I have to work in 1 year after I'm finished my degree. And I'm so fucking dreading it. You have no fucking idea, because there's no hope. And then back to the comparison theme. Of course you will compare yourself. And people online say don't compare yourself are like fucking motherfuckers that actually never worked 1 day in their life, just doing some YouTube videos, and have no idea how mentally fucking taxing and draining it is to watch people having the best years of their life, having low cortisol, just because they were born in the right place at the right time, right? So you have basically constantly this fucking notion of, yeah, bro, you're just a loser. You're doing exactly what you're told to do plus extras. I already worked. I have, I don't know how it's in English, but trade school. I finished some trade school. I started studying. I'm about to get my master's. So I'm basically the person that people deem to be like, yeah, that's a hard-working part of society. He should be fine. But for some fucking shit reason in this day and age, somebody with an engineering degree that already did some trade shit, that has a lot of experience and crap, that already seen a bit, I would say to myself that I am not fucking dumb. And I'm still seeing a fucking completely pitch black future for myself, bro. Because the way I see it, I have to work 40 hours a day no matter what. For someone that I don't care for, that they don't care about me, for fucking low pay because the fucking job market and economic is shit. And I'm stuck in a fucking hell circle, bro. I'm sitting here in a hamster wheel doing like fucking 1080s, all of the 360s all day, all night in my fucking hamster wheel just to survive. Meanwhile, I have this fucking phone where I watch people who never in their life have to come to any challenges, who wouldn't even be able to do 10% of what I am doing in my engineering work, right? They couldn't even do like 10% of my work, and they're earning like 1,000% of my salary in the end. And there I keep telling myself that I shouldn't be depressed, I shouldn't compare myself to other people. Yeah, fuck you, motherfucker. Just be happy that you're in a spot where you can live off of it, and then just shut the fuck up, eat it up, and don't try to virtue signal, you piece of garbage. The virtue signal has shifted from fucking motherfuckers that say, yeah, I'm with Black Lives Matter, I'm with fucking Turtles Lives Matter, I'm with Fish Lives Matter, to, yeah, bro, just don't be depressed. Yeah, just work hard, just do some side hustling and you will be fine, bro. What the fuck? That is the new virtue signaling. And that's fucking what pisses me off, because of course you're constantly in a state of comparing yourself, because everyone is comparing yourself to themselves and to their friends and shit like that. And of course that's mentally draining. And then back to the topic of the dices are already set, the dices already flew and hit the table. There's no point of arguing, and 95% of your entire life is based on where and when you were born and who birthed you, right? If you have alcoholic parents, too bad, you will have a fucking shit life. If you're brought up in the slums, too bad. If you're born in Africa at some fucking cobalt farm, too bad. You have to fucking die of lung cancer at age 18. And all of this shit. But it's not only this. If I look at this, if you're let's just to compare this is not fair, because we're all in first world. Let's just say you're a trust fund kid, then you're already settled for life, right? Your parents will get you out of prison even though you killed someone because they have money and shit like that. That is complete easy mode. That is like obviously just one at birth. Then you have the people that were born with good looks. They have no fucking idea how shit it is to not be good looking, and they will still talk to you down that you are like, you're not like, what? My chiseled jawline and my 2 meters of tallness didn't fucking come to anything. I had to work hard for everything, even though my halo effect actually gave me everything on a silver platter, and I'm too delusional and too arrogant to just see that I was born lucky. Then you have these people. Then you have people born a woman. Just don't kid ourselves. If you're born at least slightly above average woman, you have it 10 times easier than a man, because you will always have the golden parachute. Even if you're a fucking drug addict, even as a woman, if you're a fucking homeless motherfucker at the floor, just get yourself some guy, impregnate yourself, get his money and birth a kid, and for some shit reason society looks at you as you were the Hail Mary herself. Oh man, she did what she had to do. She birthed a fucking child out of her wagaga. Now she's 10 times of value as a man who just tries to get through, right? The man is working his ass off 50 hours a day, but he is not rich, so he is less than a woman who is completely useless but fucking birthed a child. That is how society sees you too, right? So that is also determined by luck. Then where you were born, like we already did this. Then when you were born. There's so many influencers nowadays. If they were born 5 years or 1 year ago, they wouldn't be where they're at. because they wouldn't get the traffic, they wouldn't upload to the same time, they wouldn't get like this one viral video they needed to just be like successful in a YouTube way, right? So that's also luck. So everything is based on luck. Basically, what I want to say with like dice is already rolled is like somebody that like PewDiePie, who is really successful with YouTube. If he were born 5 years earlier or 5 years later, let's just assume he was born 5 years later, he would have missed his timing to get the success he has. So even 1 year later would have destroyed everything that he has built up to, right? So life is basically everything. I wouldn't say it's predetermined, but it's more like chances. And depending on where you were born and when you were born and who and your upbringing, especially your upbringing, that increases or decreases your chances, right? So I have a friend, I had a friend, I would call, not even a friend, I just knew someone, let's just call him Edward with Scissorhands. He, for example, I would say I have a better family or upbringing than him. I have a better education than him and shit, but he had a better upbringing in terms of how people resonated with him, right? Because he was good looking, basically, he had his chiseled jawline, he was 2 meters tall and shit like that. That's why he has easier access for other people. People try to because of the halo effect, people try to impersonate him and try to get up his arse, right? And for most people it works. For someone like me, I could see through his bullshit, but most people cannot. Or I can see that, just because he's tall and good looking, these people just fell for it. What he is speaking about is not that smart. They see him and think, bro, he just does what he wants and shit. But it's just cool because the way he looks and how it's and the way he looks just shapes how people treat him, and the way people treat him shapes how his upbringing is. And this in turn will shape the person he will become, right? So now he just does what he wants. He just do some artist crap. But that's the point, right? I would also love to do some art shit, but as a normie, I have the decision of taking a 1 through 10,000 chance to be the successful artist, or take the 100 or at least 95% safe route to do something that I don't end up fucking begging for money, right? So it's either try a chance but most likely end up as a beggar, or play safe and don't end up homeless. And for myself, it was a smarter option to go, obviously, for the safer option, because I didn't have the upbringing, I don't have people don't view me the same as him. So him getting the artist route is easier because his chance is not 1 to 10,000, his chance is probably 1 to 2 or some shit like that. Because of his upbringing, because of the man he became, because of his looks, right? He had an easier time to socialize, people try to impress, and people invite him to parties, obviously, and he maybe ends up meeting someone that records him for free because they get best friends, right? And it is something that I don't have. So it is smarter for him to go the risky route because his risks are lower. But that's the entire point. Because the dice is already fair, I never had a fair chance. I didn't have the same chance as him, which is okay. But now the society is so fucked that it's basically everyone has a character sheet special. You know, from Fallout there's a character sheet special. Strength, endurance, perception and shit like that. You know, charisma and crap. You have strength, endurance, perception, charisma, luck, agility and shit like that. And my table looks like charisma is a bit lower, but the intelligence is a bit higher, perception is a bit higher, creativity is higher, which is but I am living in a time period where maxing out charisma and luck is more important than maxing out strength or intelligence. Back then in the Renaissance era, maxing out intelligence would make your life easier. Right now, it is easier if you max out your charisma and you max out your luck. Because luck opens up opportunities and charisma lets you secure these opportunities. Increased luck means you meet people who actually have a say in the world, and increased charisma just captures them, with your like charisma, and you end up befriending them, or they end up offering you to record you or some shit like that. And I'm stuck with a character sheet where your charisma and luck are in the minus. And that's why it's so hard, and I feel fucking cheated out on life. And I just had to do this video just to ramble a bit about it, so you can like realize, or maybe you can understand the way I'm going from. I was born to the right time at the to the wrong place at the wrong time, but right people. So the right people birthed me because I love my family and shit. I would never in my entire life. That's why I find it fucking cringe when somebody says you are envious. How could I be envious? I wouldn't trade my mother for all of the money in the world. Not in 1,000,000 years. Nothing. So I can't be envious, because if I would be envious, I would say I'm fine with losing my family and shit. I'm completely happy with my family and I hold on it. And the connections that I have with other people, I'm also happy with it. But everything else, or the close friends, but everything else, so interacting with other people, the time period I'm born, the social media crap, the economic crash, bull crap, all of this shit is just it's just negative for me. The only positive thing I have is who birthed me. Everything else, I just lost the dice roll. And depending what is better or worse comes up to the... But I hate the fact that I have no influence in this dice... Or I had no influence in this dice roll. I have my character sheet. I have better creativity or greater intelligence maybe than the average, I would say. But the fact that I maxed out this points doesn't work in the world I am living right now. And that's why I'm fucking feeling so helpless, because I see myself as somebody that is not fit for the 9-to-5 work. I see my potential is completely lost in a work environment like this, but I have to end up in a work environment like this if I want to survive, right? Because I cannot go. I'm just doing this video, not even with the purpose of trying to get big on YouTube. I don't give a shit. I just want to fucking get this shit out of me, because it is fucking bugging me for 2 weeks. When I had my internship, 5 days out of a week I had to attend to work, obviously, 5 times 8, right? And I think I never cried as much in my life as in the... Out of the 5 days a week, I cried like 2 to 3 days on the way to work. Because I couldn't realize, I was like, bro, I am not fit for this. Bro, is this really the end? Is this all I'm good for? A fucking work slave? Will this be my life? After I finished my education, after I finished my master's degree, will this be the end of my life? Working a 9-to-5 for the rest of my life, for 20, 30, 40 years, just to end up with a salary that keeps me afloat? I have dreams myself, you know. I want to achieve something big, but for some reason, because the dice is already rolled, and I tried out everything. I tried to connect with people. It became so hard to connect with people, not only because I am a bit socially awkward, but also because the people since lockdown became socially awkward, and it's very hard to find new friends right now. So that makes it even harder for me as someone who is not that charismatic, I would say. Most people say, other people that know me more say the first times they met me, they fucking hated me. But after they realized what I'm saying or how I work or how I think, they started to actually like me really. But the problem is, in this fucking fast-paced world, if you're the opposite, it's better. If you have a better first impression and you have the connection like Edward with the scissor hands, it's easier for you to like LARP as somebody who is charismatic than to actually be charismatic, you're in a better position, because you will end up with more opportunities, you will end up with better connections, and you will end up with a better work-life balance, because you have the opportunities that other people don't have. And that's what bugs me. Because I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like in 1 year time I will be bent over every fucking week. I'm fucking fearful as fuck. Because if my internship already got me to cry on the way to work, how the fuck will it end up when I'm actually doing a real job? And that's what made me fucking depressed. And I tried to talk to my family with it, I tried to talk with friends, except 2 of my friends. Everyone else thinks that I'm tripping or whatever. And also my sister, she understands me also, and she just asked me, yeah, do you think we are, because she thinks the same as me, and she just asked, do you think we are lazy? And I thought about it, and I first thought, yeah, that could be true, but then I thought, back then, when all the games were still open for me, and I worked like, for example, I worked as a waiter as well, just to earn some extra. It actually made fun for me. I like to work because the people that are surrounded by me, I could connect with them, I had fun. So work itself is not the problem. The problem is this hopelessness. This fucking hopelessness that it will always be the same and it will never change for the best, but it will change for the worst. And that's what fucking makes me depressed as fuck. That's why I feel forced to do this video, just to take some steam out of me so I can finally focus on some other stuff. But yeah, like I said, for most people the dice is, and so there's no point in fucking overthinking it, even though I'm doing it, because that's just the way I am. I have to overthink. But there's no ways, because yeah, even if you're like, you can try to improve yourself, of course, every time. You can just hit the gym and stuff like that. But most things, they leave imprints. If you're like the school, if you're a victim at school that got bullied, it will scar you. It doesn't matter if you go to the gym anyways, you still have the social awkwardness that locks doors for you. And because doors get locked, you feel more helpless. Because doors get locked, you feel like you're stuck more. And then you compare yourself indirectly with people who have all the doors open because they just were lucky to be where they actually are, right? Because everything just builds up for them. Even though, you have like some drug addicts that are now multimillionaires because of YouTube. Good for them, but bro, I never fucked up in my life so hard and I never had a chance, If everyone has this chance but missed this opportunity, or everyone had the same chances, it would be okay, fine. I know it is not possible, but at least why the fuck does society reward degenerate behavior so much more than being actually an upstanding right person, right? Now you have to be loud, you have to be obnoxious, you have to fake your persona, you have to attend with your mask so people don't judge you, so you can like pretend you're someone else. And if you're good at pretending you're someone else, if you're like Edward with the scissor hands, who actually talks a lot of big talk and actually has no fucking idea what he's talking about, but still comes off as a person who knows who he's talking about because of his good looks and shit, you will have it easier. You will have more opportunities and shit like that. And in the end, yeah, that's just how it is. So you have to basically accept who you are and shit. And I'm accepting it. Like I said, I'm brutally happy with my family and shit. I'm brutally happy with the mind I have. Some people just ask, or there's like this thought experiment of, yeah, ignorance is bliss and shit. Do you really want to be dumb but happy? Or do you really want to be smart but unhappy? I would never choose to be dumb, because the problems are still there. You're just too ignorant to see them, Being happy is maybe sounds a bit better, but in the great scheme of things, you will never have any impact on the world itself. And maybe this video will just open your eyes, or someone's eyes, or maybe I'm just some substitute friend for someone who feels exactly like me but has no one else around him to talk about these topics. So maybe I can vent for these people. And if I would be a dumb happy person, I wouldn't do that shit. And basically people would still be unhappy, but at least I could be ignorant. And that's not the way that I like to be. I would rather be unhappy and try to elevate 10 other people than be happy myself and don't care about other people. That's why this is a good question, but I would never choose ignorance over wisdom, or even if it makes you unhappy, because the problems will still be there. And if everyone is like dumb but happy, problems would not get fixed. And the worst thing is that most people would still choose to be dumb. That's why nothing really changes. That's what I would say. But yeah, what I said, I was just rambling a bit about depression itself and how hopeless everything is. Like look at this. We have the corona lockdown bullcrap that is obviously bullshit that destroyed everyone. We have the fucking social media that destroys everyone's brains. The new generation is brain rot as fuck. And the economy is completely fucked. So you're basically stuck in a 9-to-5 work. You basically, what I see is that most of us are doomed, more like doomed, to work a 9-to-5 that they don't actually work, to like earn money that gets spent through taxes and shit to promote this dystopian bullshit, this TikTok bullshit. Where basically you're indirectly financing the mockery of yourself. You work your ass off and finance people that basically look at you and say, yeah bro, just work harder. I know I never worked one day in my life and I had everything given to me because I was just born to the right time at the right place, right? But you have to work more, bro. I just drop-checked back in 2012. I was one of the lucky persons that were born 5 years before anyone else who did drop shipping, and that's why I am smarter than you, bro. I was born 5 years earlier, so I was 18 to the point. I was 18 when everyone else was like 13, so I was able to drop ship before anyone else. That's why I'm a marketing genie. Bullshit, you are just fucking lucky. And I'm fucking sick of people pretending that they are fucking some Einsteins when they just were fucking born lucky at the same time, at the right time, at the right day. Bro, because drop shipping, everyone can do that shit, you know? Everyone can do this bullshit. Everyone can do like some fucking PewDiePie videos, I would say. Everyone can do this, but not everyone has the success and the luck to be successful with it. And that's the fucking point, you know? So what is the end goal of this video? I just don't want to leave you depressed, so I will just say it is just what it is to a certain way. You still have to talk about it. There's something I wanted to say as well. There are people who say it is what it is. There's no point in complaining, but you should complain, because if no one complains, then you comply. And I will not comply to this state of life, to this state of society, and I will point with the finger at everything that fucking annoys me, at everything that I think is shit, and I will point it out. And I will complain. And if people complain about my complaining, let them complain, whatever. Let them be ignorant.